welcome to this fly tying video. Today we're tying an extended body spinner. First we'll make the extended body of the fly, and for this you need a needle. This one I've just heated and bent to shape, but you can use a straight needle as well. So for this I'm using the Uni 8/0 in tan, and I'll start by catching the thread just at the eye or just at the point of the needle. And the first thing we'll tie in is the tails. For this one I use 3 tails, and I use these dark brown microfibets, but you could also use moose body hair or any other material that you like. So I'll choose 3 strands and then make sure they're aligned, and will tie it in facing over the point of the needle. And here you can choose the length of the tail. You can make it as long as you want. On the naturals, tails are quite long. Some loose turns, then make sure these are on top, well centered, and there we go. And now to make the extended body I use some thin fly foam. This is 2mm and tan, and I've cut it in a shape like this, tapering down to the middle and then tapering out again. And then what I do is fold it in 2, and then I'll cut at an angle to make it easier to tie in. And now come in underneath with the foam on either side of the needle, and then we'll make the first segment, 2 turns, and then come in under, and here make sure you push it in, and then 1 turn over, and then we'll make the second segment. And here usually we make segments go or a little bigger for each segment, which is exactly the contrary to the naturals. They have the largest segments near the tip and then smaller and smaller, but it's quite difficult to do that. It makes for a nicer body if you do it this way. And then advancing 1 turn under, then 2 turns over the foam, 1 turn under, and then make sure to get the thread just here so it won't, I'll show you later, and it won't go over the foam but in between. 1 turn on the needle, make a segment, 2 turns, push up with the thread, 1 turn over, and then 2 turns on the foam, make this again, and the last segment, 1 turn, and then we'll whip finish here, making the last segment with whip finish, 3 turns, and then we can cut off the thread. And now hold your whole foam body tightly and then slide it off the needle. And here we have our extended foam body made. If you want, you can cut just the tip if it's a little too big, making for this last tiny segment. And there we go. And here you can see that there's no turn of thread in between the foam. You just have nice segments. And then what I do is to roll it on the desk with a finger. This will make for an even smoother body. And then what you have to do, the last thing, is you have two threads. One is for that we tied off, and then we have the thread that's in between the foam holding the tails. And now we have to pull on this one and pull it till it stops. Then the tails are secured. And then now you see we have the tails that are stuck together or not so split out. It's fine. And here I have the body or the foam attached to the needle. I just set it here to split the tails, and the easiest way I found out is to use bug bond, this UV resin, and to do this I put a tiny drop just at the base of the tails. This will also secure the first thread wraps, and there, a tiny drop. And then I use my UV lamp, and as I only have two hands, I hold it with my mouth and then split the tails. And then you get these nice split tails, and I like them this way. You could also leave them a little more stuck together. It depends what you like. So that's the body finished. And then you have to color the body, and to do this I put it on a paper, and I use first a brown marker to color the top, and then wipe off all the excess, and this will leave most of the color in between the segments and a little less on the segments. And then you can color with a black one, making some markings at the end of the tail, and we'll do the same on the underside. Actually, all the color that you put on the top, fish will never see it, so it's completely unnecessary, but it makes for a nice looking fly, so I do it. And now we'll tie the actual fly, and for this I use the same thread, Uni 8/0 in 10, and the hook is the Kamasan B100, but any lightweight hook would a big hook gap works fine. We'll start at the eye of the hook, catching the thread, then cut off, and here we go back to the eye of the hook, and here we want to tie in the antennas, and I use the same microfibets, and the antennas are just slightly shorter than the tails, but approximately the length of the body. So tie them in over the eye of the hook, and this will then, when the fly is ready, make for 2 more spots where it will make a great footprint on the water with the 3 tails at the back, the 2 antennas, and then some legs in the middle. So tie this in at the eye of the hook, then advance your thread, or take back your thread to about in between the point and the bar, and then we leave the thread there, and now we want to tie in the body. So to do this, you grab the 2 threads that we have, and you want to start by tying this in, which will make for a more durable body. And here we also have the microfibets sticking out, so tie this in, and this will ensure that it won't pull off as easily and it won't break. And here, as we tied in the microfibets with the body, or we tied them in on the shank of the hook, it will make for a more durable fly. Then go back again with your thread to the point where you want the next segment to be, because here we're going to tie another segment, securing the body and also finishing it off in a nice way. So here we make another segment to the hook, some tight turns, and then we're gonna cut off these 2 foam parts, so you can really pull on the thread, and then one at a time you can usually pull them off, and this will make for a nice cut. There we go. And then tidy up, and there we have the body tied in. You can choose the angle, but I like it to be quite flat as the spinner. And then grab another piece of foam. You will have many of these as you tie the bodies. All these little parts here that you cut off, you can use these for the back of the fly. So here we're gonna tie this in, facing towards the back, some tight turns to secure, and then go back with your thread to where the last segment is, and this will then make the thorax cover and everything on this fly. Then tidy up this foam with some nice turns. Now we'll make the wings, and for this I use a CDC feather. This one's beige, but you can use gray, light gray, darker gray, or cream, yellow, or brown, anything that you like. And to do this, I will take off all or mostly of the fibers, leaving a few at the top. And here you'll see the length of it, so a few more fibers you can pull off. And the length of the wing should be the length of the body, or in between the length of the body and the length of the tail or the antennas. This makes for a proportionate fly. So then when we have the feather on, here you can choose which side is better for the where most of the wing will be. I choose this one and this, and then you take the other side and you cut it quite close, a straight cut down to the point of the feather, and then turn your feather around and on the other side cut it, but more like this, leaving longer fibers, and then make the tip a little rounder. Then you can tidy up all. And there you have a wing for a fly. And I already made quite a few, and I've chosen two ones that are perfect for this fly. And then align the two feathers so the tips are aligned. And then we're gonna tie this in with the big part towards the back, and just tie it in the middle of your body. Secure it well, and we can cut off the stems. And then we want to post these feathers so they stand out 90 degrees from the hook. There we have our two wings, and now we can split them a little and make some turns in between, just to make sure that they will then lay flat as the wings of the spinner. And then to cover up all these thread wraps, we want to use some dubbing. This one is a mix between rabbit and dry fly dubbing in a tan color, holding your wings so they don't get stuck in the dubbing, and build up the thorax at the back. With some dubbing, and then at the front, to make some legs, I've chosen a brown partridge feather, and this one will tie in by the tip. So grab the tip and pull back the fibers, and then this will give you a tying point. And we're gonna tie this in front of the wings, some turns to secure, then cut off the tip, one fiber There we go. And now wind this up, pulling back all the fibers. And here we don't want to overdo this, so 1 turn and a half is enough. And then tie off your feather and cut it off. Then pull back everything that's facing forward. And tidy up in front. And then try to push down most of the fibers, most of the partridge underneath. I used the same dubbing as before to finish off the head and finishing off the thorax, and then split the wings and pull over the piece of foam that we had at the back, and this will split everything in two, and then hold it and tie it off near the head. And then we can add just some more dubbing in front to build up the little head. And then we'll make the head of the fly. So just at the eye of the hook, tie off the foam once again, making a little segment, and then pull everything up, the antennas and the foam, and then we can whip finish at the eye of the hook. And this will make for a neat little head, and also push up the antennas a little, and then cut off your foam as close as possible. And then if you want to, you can split the antennas and then set your wings where you like them. And then we just have some color work to do. So I color the back brown again. And then normally these flies are a little darker near the head, so with some black I'll color the head and the front of the thorax cover. And there's an extended body spin.